Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, and its presidential candidate are calling on security agencies to place the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and its presidential campaign council, including its candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on watch list over alleged inciting comments. They accused Tinubu and his team of making comments that could incite violence and disrupt the 2023 polls, following a viral video in which Tinubu, while addressing some APC leaders in London, charged them to grab power and run with it. Spokesman of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Kola Ologbodiyan, in a statement says the video reflects a heightened apprehension by Tinubu, who he said is intimidated by the rising acceptance of the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar across the nation. They accuse the APC of putting aside decorum and planning to deploy violence in the 2023 general elections. Also, the lead bishop of Worldwide Anglican Church in Nigeria, Bishop Seun Adeoye, is calling on security agents to invite and interrogate the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu over his alleged inciting comments during the meeting in London. In a statement released on Friday, the cleric berated Tinubu for telling his supporters to grab power, quote, at all costs. Meanwhile, the APC Presidential Campaign Council, through its spokesman, Festus Keyamo, has replied the PDP, saying that the main opposition party was devising a plot to bring down Tinubu through unnecessary scaremongering tactics. Quote, Keyamo claims that Tinubu is a thoroughbred Democrat and one of the major architects of the democracy that the PDP and Nigerians enjoy today. Hence, the PDP wrongly assessed his statement. But let's listen to Tinubu and what he said.
Study the anthropology of it. Where are we? No. Political power is not going to be served in a restaurant. It's not served in a la carte. This is what we are doing. It's being determined to do it. At all costs, fight for it, grab it, snatch it, and run with it.
All right, joining us to discuss this is Kassim Afegbua, who is a former commissioner for information in Edo State and an associate of the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you so much, Kassim, for joining us.
I'm a supporter, not an associate.
Well, in one way or the other, you are associated with him.
I'm supporting him.
Okay, so you're supporting him. So, I mean, a lot of Nigerians are outraged by what Tinubu said, and you would have listened to him yourself, where he's saying that, look, power is not given a la carte, and then you need to grab it, you need to do whatever you can to just, get it. And a lot of Nigerians are feeling that this is an inciting statement.
No,
what's been your view?
No. You see, when you were reading it, I was laughing. Because we leave things that are not so important to us, and we dwell on inanities, frivolities. We need leadership that can add value to the well-being of Nigerians as at present. The process of power acquisition and power distribution are processes that you and I know too well, particularly in Nigeria, where the president is next to God. In Nigeria, the president is much more powerful than anything. That's why you could see that people wait to see the president's body language when issues come to the front burner. But in reality, the powers of the president should naturally derive from the constitution of the country. But oftentimes, the president appropriates, reprobates, and represents the entire constitution. So, when you talk about inciting, he was talking to his lieutenants and telling them the kind of seriousness they should put into this contest. There is no contest for power anywhere in the world that is pedestrian, that is just there. No. And that's when he says power is not served a la carte. It is the truth.
Yeah, but when he mentioned go grab the power, do everything you can, then it looks like an inciting statement according to those who are criticizing him.
It means when I say go and grab power, it means you should double your efforts. Whatever you are doing and all that, it means you should double your effort in the process of trying to acquire power. I don't know. You said PDP was issuing a statement talking about somebody is afraid of this. I don't know what's happening. I think PDP needs to look at itself, from the mirror and see the kind of ugly picture that they will see in themselves. Because if anybody should worry, it should be, if Nigerians should get worried, it should be about PDP, because it is the PDP that has a unifier that cannot unite his party. You have a unifier, cannot unite his party. Very small party.
The major criticism is that Bola Tinubu didn't sign the National Peace Accord, and a lot of people are worried.
No, but the party signed.
Yeah, but the presidential candidate, the flag bearer, didn't sign directly. He was only represented by his vice presidential candidate. And people are saying that. Yeah, I mean, people are saying that, look, isn't this a tone of what's to come ahead?
No.
That means that APC is willing to deploy everything that they can, including things that are not supposed to be mentioned on there.
Some now. When it gets to issues such as this, I want people to be rational and objective in their positions. You see, you can't say he didn't sign when his running mate was there. It's a twin ticket. He was not around, and it wasn't that he deliberately shunned that particular committee meeting. He respects a lot of those persons who are members of the peace committee, but he was not around. He sent his running mate and also the party chairman. Don't forget that it is not so much for the individual, it is so much for the party, because even the ballot we are talking about is carrying the logo of the party. So what if you want to address your minds to the critical issues of electionary campaign and all that, you should talk more to the party. Once the chairman of a party is able to sign a peace accord, he will rein in other persons and all that. So I don't see why this is generating so much. You see, the point is this. Sumner, they always will talk, even if Tinubu is just sleeping peacefully in his house. They will talk.
But if it were, if you flip it to the other side and it were Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar Okonkwo, so I'm very sure the APC Presidential Campaign Council would have come around to romance on the issue and say, look, this person shouldn't have said that.
No, it's not that. I will give you a scenario. I was just telling somebody this morning. Peter Obi has been attending churches, Shiloh. He attended this, attended that, looking for endorsement. If Tinubu had just attended one Islamic gathering, the whole country would want to bring that.
We're seeing pictures being sent by Tinubu almost every Friday in the early stages, but now it looks like he's no longer doing that.
No, I'm not saying Friday going to mosque. That's his belief. That's his religion. You should worship God on Friday, Jumat service. I'm not saying Peter will be going to his own church to pray on Sunday. I'm saying he's going to church programs. Even when INEC has said that don't campaign in churches and all of that, or religious or worship places. You see, the point is, when a man is being dreaded, like a Tinubu now, they dread him because they see that he's the man to beat. So they will rake all manners of mud to stain him so that it will distract him.
But aren't you relying on the politics of the past, Kassim Afegbua? Because with the introduction of the electronic technologies into the electoral system, a lot of people are saying that things have changed. It looks like you're still relating based on what used to happen in the past. Does it mean that the candidate of the governing party cannot be defeated? If the candidate of a ruling party who also happens to be the sitting president can be defeated, what makes you think that the candidate of a governing party who is not a sitting president cannot be defeated?
No. The candidate of a ruling party can be defeated if the candidate is not working as he should work. If he's not campaigning, if he's not convincing people, if he's not winning people. It's in London. Women are in Northeast women are in Maiduguri campaigning. People are in Kano campaigning. In Jigawa they are campaigning. Kogi, the youths were in Kogi 3 days ago campaigning. So the point is, you can only defeat a candidate that is unserious, that is not, showing the gravitas in contending with the campaign issues, electoral issues, and all of that. The incumbent that was defeated in 2015 relaxed, believing that the power of incumbency would deliver the position for him. And don't forget that the factors and the actors of the PDP who are shouting today, they were the one who left the PDP, joined APC to defeat that PDP candidate. And today, shamelessly, they still go back to that man, swallowing their vomit and trying to say he should please come and support them. That is it. So when I hear people like Olambodi or talking, and it's like they don't understand where the history is coming from. Now, 5 governors of the PDP are at loggerheads with their candidate, and yet they are still thinking that they are going to defeat somebody in this election. Who? Atiku will come a distant third in this election. The PDP candidate.
Well,
go and write it down.
It's left for the voters to actually decide. But let's come back to our subject matter here.
Yes.
And I'm going to quote Tinubu exactly what he said, that political power is not going to be served in a restaurant. It is not served a la carte. At all costs, fight for it, grab it, snatch it, and run with it. Does this run fair?
Okay, let me
when you listen to this,
I think you don't.
When you listen to this, Kassim Afegbua, wouldn't it look like, look, the APC is thinking of, putting just everything on the table?
No,
not just.
Let me just break this down for you. Political power in Nigeria, in the absence of government of national unity, it is often winner takes all. You run with it. That is the truth. When you win, you run with it. And I always like to quote, this common malapropian bluff. Big man, they talk. Poor man saying get ideas. The beauty of your manifesto will be worthless if you are not in political power to translate it into practice for Nigerians or the people you intend to govern, for them to feel it. You get the point. No matter how beautiful you write your manifesto, you articulate the issues and you give it to people who say, "Oh, beautiful manifesto. Where did it end?" Does mean because you don't have the political power to translate it.
So must you do everything that you can to get that political power without following the rule book?
Let me tell you, Tinubu has not broken any law, both in the Electoral Act or any other. He has not taken fight to anybody. He's been doing his own thing in a very articulate, very polished, very urbane and cosmopolitan manner.
You consider this polished? If you're a voter and you hear the candidate of the governing party saying that power should be taken at all costs, fight for it, grab it, snatch it, and run with it, wouldn't that make you to run away from the polling booth on election day?
No, I have just told you what that means. Power is winner takes all. You grab power, you go with it. You don't share. Who do you share power with?
So when you were saying grabbing, what in your own estimation is that grabbing?
Grab power.
Yeah.
You have to go out for it. You don't have to sleep in the cocoon of your home and think that power will come to meet you there. You have to go out and campaign. If you are campaigning 6 hours, increase it to 12 hours. Move around, talk to people and all that. Convince people, persuasion.
And you think other presidential candidates are also not doing that?
They can be doing that, but you have to double your efforts. For God's sake, in my constituency, small polling units, I have to be in touch with my people and all that. Go and campaign so that on election day they will listen. If they don't see me, if they don't see you, and you take it for granted and all that. Other people will grab the opportunity. It depends on how you interpret it. They will grab the opportunity. They say this man has not been around. We are not seeing him and all that. He's not even talking to us. He's not even picking our calls. They will go and support other candidates. The fluidity of the electoral process is so manifest that if you give a little opportunity, other people will grab your candidates or your supporters. So your supporters are supposed to be warehoused in a way that you continue to oil them and service them by your presence, by your interaction with them, by your conversation with them. So when people tend to misinterpret or even read unholy meanings to statements and all that, meanwhile they are also doing the same thing. The desperation of PDP in this whole process, the desperation of the Labour Party guys. For God's sake, what are we talking about? Who is fooling who? Who is even making the noise? If they have a lot of social media errats and all that are just writing and just concocting manners of interpretations to statements, it doesn't mean that others, if others are not doing that, it doesn't mean that others don't have sense.
Is Tinubu really the candidate to beat in this election, and that's why he can make this kind of statement?
It is not because he's the candidate to beat. He is the candidate that is most prepared for leadership. And I give the reason. Because I took a critical assessment of the candidates before I took my position. Of course, you know that the PDP candidate, I won't even smell him. But the Labour Party candidate and all that, I just feel that even the party itself is not properly organized. If the candidate cannot promote aspirations of persons to contest for House of Reps, Senate, and it's all about him. I don't feel such a person is ready for leadership, because you become president, you have a National Assembly that will be hostile. So all of that, you see, Tinubu has never contested for president in Nigeria. Yeah. Not even VP. This is the first time. He's not just a strategic-minded person. He's not just a planner. He's not just one who understands the dynamics and the intricate logic of the Nigerian Federation, but he's also one who you can single out as an activist that fought for this democracy we are benefiting from. On a good day, people would naturally say he should just go unopposed. He fought
in
yes.
Nigeria.
No,
in Nigerian politics.
I'm just telling you, I said on a good day, but there are no good days.
Okay.
So the point is, this man, for anybody will give him that credit. Some of the candidates of the candidate of PDP was romancing with the military government.
No, Atiku had to go on exile. If you remember, he had to go on exile.
His boss,
and then
listen, his boss,
the late Musa
was kept in captivity. One day Atiku didn't go to visit him.
Atiku actually visited him in prison.
Where?
Atiku actually visited him alongside. Alongside Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua's brother. I mean,
if there was
these are things that are well written and well documented.
No.
Why not speaking for him?
Samna, if there's one regret of Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua, that issue of not visiting was one regret.
Well,
from
a journalist perspective, that's the information
I'm talking from an insider perspective.
Okay. Now, you have said that Tinubu is the most prepared leader for this position from your own thinking, but a lot of Nigerians don't share that view with you, considering what happened at the Chatham House, where you would have a presidential candidate pushing questions to his surrogates instead of him answering questions that are related, especially that issue.
Let me tell you something now.
Yes.
You see, leadership anywhere in the world is a collective responsibility.
Definitely.
When you have
been elected.
I'm coming. Who defines it? Who defines leadership that wait, you are elected? Is it when you are elected that you are a leader? No. When you become the candidate of a party, you are already a leader. You understand the point? And you approximate, and represent all the whims and caprices of that party. You carry it in your shoulder. Now, if you don't get people involved, they will fold their arms and say, okay, let's see, let him go and try, let's see how he's going to do it. Does a candidate alone have the capacity to go around and campaigning without using foot soldiers?
No, definitely do that. But people want to hear policy statements from the candidates, not the surrogates.
Wait. A policy statement of a candidate cannot be taken away from his manifesto. The manifesto, which is dubbed Action Plan, encapsulates the totality of what he intends to do using the vehicle of the party.
And why is it difficult for him to sell the product himself?
I'm coming. Once you already have, I hope you are not insinuating that Tinubu does not know how to speak English.
No, that's not what we are saying. I hope
you are not also insinuating that the man does not have mental acumen.
No. Okay. Well, I mean, we saw him having an interview with even a foreign news organization. But you can delegate authority, but you can't delegate leadership.
No, I'm coming. I'm coming. You mean Tinubu did interview with Focus Africa, BBC Focus on Africa?
Well, a foreign media organization, like I said earlier.
No, he didn't. I'm sure all those surrogates also came to speak with him, speak for him there. People should face serious-minded issues. Leadership is a collective responsibility. If the man could sit on television and be integrated, being questioned, and he responded very well in a cerebral manner.
It wasn't,
in a cerebral manner.
It wasn't in live TV that
I'm coming now, and you are now saying that because he went to Chatham House and all that, his choice cannot be divorced from his style. His style is to carry people along. Even at a much younger age, when he was a governor of Lagos, that was his style. Collective responsibility. That's why people still credit him that he has empowered a lot of people. You can mention 20 people that took off from the Tinubu School of Politics.
Yes, but when he was contesting to be a governor of Lagos, he didn't delegate people to answer questions to him. Why will he do so as a presidential candidate?
Let me conclude. There is no law in contemporary leadership discourse, and I read a lot of books that say that you cannot delegate answers and listen. When I saw Biden telling Fauci to respond to a question, somebody told me, "Oh, he's a president. You can do that as a president." I say, "Who tells you? What books? Are there masterclass books that will tell you, oh, this is the procedure to follow? A candidate of a party may want to get the buy-in of his lieutenants by calling on them to respond to questions that have been asked, and out of the 10 questions, he answered 4 of them on his own. He said, this one I will answer because it has to do, but because we are one, we are together, we are working as a collective, I would like this woman to speak to issue of health. I want this to, all of these things are packaged.
Chief Afegbua, you and I know that he is a presidential candidate, and Biden, for example, they are citing is a candidate.
No.
I mean, it's a sitting president.
Oh, there's a difference now.
Yeah, there's a difference because one is in office, one is not yet in office.
What difference does it make?
Because people want to hear the electorate, the voter want to hear from the candidate.
Are you saying the Nigerians in diaspora he also met with, that he didn't speak to them when he said he decided to debate from morning till night? Are you saying he didn't speak to them? You see, a man can choose a style. That style should not be considered by lazy opposition persons as an albatross. Atiku Abubakar was in Chatham House for more than 3 minutes. He was flustered because he couldn't understand. He said, I understand that there's a technical problem here. He was confused because they gave him a prepared speech. He missed the line and he was completely flustered. That's the truth. Well, thank God that video is also trending. And they are saying
well, that's politics for you. But as we try to round off this conversation, let's talk about the APC and its chances in 2023 polls. With these statements that we hear from Tinubu, should Nigerians be afraid for the elections? Is APC not planning to get power by all means through its presidential candidate, as we have heard?
You see,
what is the one outstanding thing that you would say that would make Tinubu to be received by the majority of Nigerians and be elected president?
Tinubu is already received. See, if you check the demographics, APC stands in pole position against every other party. They have 21 solid governors in their state. Those are structures. Those are platforms. You know, they have senators, they have House of Reps. If you had 5 governors of PDP who are making trouble with their party before obvious injustice, 21 plus 5, that's 26.
Why do you think they will be going to the APC?
I am telling you,
why not NPP? Why not Labour Party?
No, I'm just telling you, if you have, and there's a likelihood that you have, that will be 36. So anybody who is thinking that, except the unexpected happens. And I put it, I say, except the unexpected happens. God, barring any unforeseen circumstances, God giving all of us good health. 2023 is Tinubus. That's the truth.
And with this sort of statement, people are afraid.
There's nothing about statement. You are being detained by that statement.
Well,
because
I mean,
back home in my village, my people have redoubled their efforts in campaigning. Now we have introduced door-to-door campaign. We didn't do that before. Once Tinubu spoke, we said, okay, we should include that. Door-to-door, you knock people's door, you talk to them, you appeal to them, you show them manifestos which have been broken down into snippets and all that.
I'm asking you this question because we have seen Abdullah Adamu, the national chairman of the APC, talking about the BVN and how unsure, and then we have heard Tinubu also saying that, look, this thing, we are not so sure about it. And people are saying that with this sort of statements, maybe the APC has some other plans and Nigerians are unaware of.
No, in Sumner, I think people should be rational when they are making points. You see, INEC is an institution that is vested with the responsibility of conducting elections, and in doing that, you need to also take them to task at all times so that they continue to give you assurances. Assurances that to build in confidence in the process, because it is not just about the outcome of the process, but the processes leading to the outcome.
Yeah, but the processes of the beavers have been explained over, including to the National Assembly.
They will continue to do it. Were they not explained in 2015 under the card reader scenario when Jonathan went to his voting place and he couldn't vote? What are we talking about? You need to continue to put INEC on his toes. Continue to remind that it's a technology. Technology is not anybody's friend. You can be 200% sure on that day he fucks you up. I'm sorry to use that language.
We don't permit such language on air.
It disappoints you. It disappoints you on that day. So what are you going to do? You will not be crying blue mother where other things have been done. So it is now that we continue to drum it loud and clear. If I tell you that I don't have assurances about what you are doing, it is left for you to continue to assure me by showing me proof and evidence that yes, you are doing what is proper.
Yeah,
and
but
what is
Abdullah
right.
Adamu was in
No,
the Senate when this technology was brought by INEC, demonstrated
it's not.
over and over. He was
The
part
use
of those who passed the
No.
Electoral Act, including Tinubu's wife,
Beavers.
Senator Remi Tinubu.
Sumner, Beavers is not an issue. It's not a problem. Making it workable and functional in the entire country on the same day is the issue we are talking about.
Okay.
In isolated elections, you can manage the shortfalls. But in covering 176,000 polling units across the country on the same day, at the same time, we need to get further assurances.
Okay, interesting indeed, and I hope INEC is listening. One last question
Yes.
to you. Why do you think Tinubu should be elected president of Nigeria?
He should be elected president because he is one person who is a team player, number one. Number two, he has the capacity to move an elite consensus kind of narrative. He loves dialogue, he loves collective bargaining, constructive engagement. He's a man who has, cognate experience in administration and executive position, having been a governor. Himself, he has been a governor, Peter Obi having been a governor, they have cognate experience. Elijah Atiku Abubakar doesn't have that kind of experience. He has no final authority or approving authority. He was only the vice president. So, if he wants to talk about his experience, he may have learned something from his boss. But of course, we know the ding-dong affair between him and his boss, which shows that we also know part of his character. So the point is, a Tinubu, in this country today, we need a man who can sit people down in geopolitical axis and begin to interrogate the issues. Let us dialogue. We want dialogue, conversation to build national cohesion.
Right.
And Tinubu fits into my perspective.
All right. Well, we must thank you so much. Kassim Afegbua is a former commissioner for information in Edo State, and of course, like I had said, you are an associate, but you said no,
I'm a supporter, keen supporter.
Earlier, we saw your name being mentioned on the APC Presidential Campaign Council.
No, I'm not a member of APC. I'm not a member of APC. I'm not a member of any party.
Well, this is surprising.
I'm a Nigerian voter, and I have my supporters back home in my little world.
This is politics, pure politics I play here. A lot of people would doubt you.
Kassim Afegbua, where I come from, I'm a voter, and I have my supporters. When I go home to campaign, they respect me. I tell them, vote for this person because from all the candidates.
So you're partyless at the moment?
I'm partyless.
Okay, interesting.
When I join the party, you will know I won't hide my